All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. We're in San Antonio, Texas. We are going to bring in some hot conversations with Mr. C-Rod and Southpaw Rob and the Disc in That show.
What's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. Happy to be with you as always. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we're going to get this out to you as fast as possible. Going to do it a little different this week. Just kind of do a little recap. Just kind of where we've been the past few weeks, who we've sat down with. Just kind of review our personal life as far as our disc golf career goes and upcoming things professionally and in the community. So we're happy to bring that to you today.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get to sit down and chat with you, Mr. C-Rod.
Yep.
We got a few things to talk about, but first I'd like to thank our sponsors.
For sure. Sponsors always, they're some of the ones that get us here, support us in our tournaments, our events we have going on, kind of help us get to the next level. Imagine the Reaction, my wife, she does Sweet Roll Creations as well. So look her up, Instagram, Facebook. They're our sponsors, our wives.
Oh yeah.
And my brother, Funkomania SA. We got real property management as well.
And then we have obviously Disc Kings. So Disc Kings Disc Golf. Shout out to my brother Hollywood Dave. Shout out to my dad. Love you, Dad. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy season. I feel like it's coming to a close.
Mm-hmm.
The players have been talking about, man, it's been a grueling grind.
Kristen Tatar too was saying in her interview, and Missy Gannon, how it's starting to wear and tear after they're playing lots of rounds, man. And I can imagine
they're playing on some of the toughest courses. Towards the end, they're playing like Ledgestone, they're playing MVP, they're Fox. They were playing some pretty tough courses.
Yeah. And we just got done with Circle G, man. Circle C and Roy G, which are, pretty lengthy courses, but, it's not 4-day tournaments.
That was an interesting tournament for me.
Yeah.
So shout out to Goose Promotions.
Yes, yeah.
He put it on a great event, great players pack. I love the jerky, by the way.
Great jerky.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and very well put together. You could tell Goose had a passion, make sure he wanted to. Goose and Jace, Whitehead. I know Trevor helps him out as well too. They all just had a passion and wanted to make sure it was a great experience for everyone.
And Circle G was one of those tournaments for me that was like, it taught me a few things about myself, especially tournament wise. Patience being one of them.
First day was rough. It was rough.
I took a 10 on hole 18.
Yeah. Had to ask him about it, make sure it wasn't a mistake.
So, yeah.
But tough conditions.
So, here's how it went down. I am playing really good birdie bogey, kind of playing yo-yo disc golf, going up and down, up and down. Just couldn't. I was playing well, but I was playing bad at the same time. It was weird. But hole 18 starts coming down. I finally have the box. I get on the tee box. It's coming down. As I'm grabbing my disc is soaking wet. My hands are soaking wet. I'm soaking wet. I'm looking at the guys like...
and he's hole 18, Circle G, one of the harder holes.
I was at +3 at that time.
For those of you who know it, in Austin, Texas.
So I get to the hole and they're looking at me and I'm like, okay, you think they're going to call it? I don't hear a horn or nothing. So...
Right.
I just rushed and I got up there. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to slap it down there, like throw something really, stable and just kind of throw a little flex.
It went well in his head. It went
well in my head. And so it literally slipped out of my hand, hit the pole right in front on the short box and goes into a weird position where then they're looking at me. They throw their shots. Actually, you know what? They don't. They throw their shots. Then... they're like, oh, it's on a lightning delay. Long story short, I ended up throwing 2 shots before they ended up, they were pretty far up the fairway, and I was meanwhile back here, maybe 30 feet off the tee, if that. I threw 2 more shots, and then boy's like, what do you say? He's like, oh, we're on a lightning delay. So the PDGA app, it allows you to send messages out and stuff like that. Say, hey, we're on a lightning or a rain delay is what he said. mind you, at this time, it's coming down hard.
Yeah, I'm on 16, 2 holes behind Rob, and I got a straight headwind into which is one of the holes I think is tough as well too. And let's just say the Destroyer flew like a free tail.
Oh man! So I'm soaking wet. I am shooting 4 when I get back. So me and Chris meet up on 18, I think it was, or towards the.
So it's completely wet. Shoes.
We chill out in the car, and I'm like, dude, I'm sitting 4. Like I'm sitting 3. I'm shooting 4.
And he's not halfway.
I'm not even halfway. I'm not even like 100 feet off the tee.
Yeah, but to your defense, I'll be honest, man. It is for those obviously southpaw. Rob's a lefty. For me, I feel like trying to get grip in the range for a forehand as opposed to a backhand is a lot harder.
And I should have just told him maybe a turnover. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But it did teach me patience. And, I threw rollers, I threw thunders to get out of wherever I was. Let me just tell you that. And then I had a 30-footer, I had a 35-footer coming back for my 10. And I'm looking at the creek. I'm like, should I run this? Should I not? I go, what do I have to lose at this point? So needless to say, I made it dead center. It was a good shot. And I was like, you know what? I can end on that.
Yeah.
And C-Rod will tell you, I was pretty mad at myself. And it was a long ride home back to San Antonio. But I did learn one thing. Patience is definitely always wait. Know your rules, play them to your advantage. I know a lot of people, they're wanting to play exactly behind their line, but you got a sheet.
Right.
You can use every advantage that you possibly can. And I think that I learned that I should have waited a little bit, and maybe I had worst case throwing 2.
Yeah. Same, man. I think we learned the same thing on our card too, and at the time, we're trying to figure out because the wind hit really hard.
Ooh, yeah.
The rain didn't hit until it was we saw
it got cold. It got chilly. It dropped 30 degrees.
Yeah, and when it was wet, man, me and Barrett were talking about that, and it was just we were like, dude, it's cold right now. We're like, dude, we're soaking. Everything's wet, right?
Oh yeah,
everything. We didn't plan for no umbrella, no extra towels. But yeah, I was like I mentioned, I was a couple holes behind Rob. And we were thinking the same thing. Me and Barrett were like, hey, maybe we should let's wait, let's see. He tried calling Goose, but I know Goose was running around probably doing emails. And, we got the message, but at the time, our phones weren't getting service.
I didn't even want to pull my phone out. It was raining that hard.
Right.
Normally, it's rain and it's drizzling. We've played in that many times.
No,
that's
rain.
different. This was full on, I'm gonna come down on you El Nino style. And
hence and then hour 15 delay. Came back 16 underwater. Literally, I throw my disc up by the basket and it floats away 10 feet more than what it landed. So that kind of just, course conditions, that kind of gives you.
You just gotta push past it, and that's, everybody's having to play in the same conditions. And the mindset that I should have shifted to was, you know what, take your double, get out, and you'll be all right. But I took that one, and I think that almost shot me out of the tournament.
I need a hero. Rob was definitely trying to play hero golf.
I was definitely trying it. I wasn't trying to get a
live and we learn.
And then you learn. And I think that one hole really taught me a lot. I played really good the next day. I feel like I was -2. One hole I blew up. Roy G, the new redesign is great. If you haven't been out there, Roy G is a great course. It'll definitely challenge your lines and challenge your angles and where you're going to miss. Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely improvement from Saturday. I myself was able to get the second hottest round in MA1, which, believe it or not, was +1. And I felt good about that. The score, I was like, I could have done better, but I know I left a lot out there. So I was like, I felt good about my game. Putting, though, was horrible. My putting in the rain was better than my putting on Sunday. So once I figure that out, man, I think we're going to have a good year next year trying to hop up into MPO and whatnot. But overall, great tournament, fun tournament.
Yeah, I got some tournaments coming up. I'm excited. Tomorrow, I have the Windcrest Classic. I think it's the 4th one. I've never played this event. I've heard
non-sanctioned.
It's not sanctioned. It's at Windcrest Ball Golf Course, and it's sponsored by Proline, and they put on a good event. They usually put great events on. Shout out to Mark and Kevin.
You can't even really get on because the people are just so committed to playing every
Oh
year
yeah,
now.
every
So
year. It's like
pretty tough.
it's hard to get in. So
it's like
But-
Waterloo.
oh
It's
yeah,
like the next Waterloo.
yeah. Waterloo is definitely another tournament if you haven't played it, and that one usually sells out within the hour.
Yeah, but it should be fun. We're playing for cash, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of good names out there.
Oh yeah,
So
some of the
that's-
best in San Antonio.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I think. What's good about the tournament is you got non-sanctioned with some of the best players representing from amateur to age protected to MPO, right?
Oh yeah.
Even women's. So that's pretty cool. So it's gonna be a pretty cool tournament.
But you know what's even cooler is what I understand from this tournament is that we get to ride on golf carts.
Yeah, man. That's
So it's 2 rounds. You know, we get to play with our cool homies and some people that we want to play with the first round, and then after that, I believe they split up the cards. And they're gonna have food too. They're gonna have food. I think brisket and
I
stuff.
saw brisket, sausage, pizza.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty cool.
it is a little more on the expensive side, but I think it's definitely worth it for a non-sanctioned event. But I think you got so much overhead with the ball golf course, and you never get to play on those unless you're playing like Junction or something like that.
Right.
You get to experience those.
Or an elite series.
Oh yeah, like Portland or something like that.
right. Vegas. But yeah. Just going back to Roy G. Right, actually, I had something I wanted to mention. Pretty cool with our personal career. We are also participating in the Hot Tour.
Oh yeah.
Mint Disc holds that down here in Texas. You know, shout out to Mint Disc. I know they're growing, expanding. Got a few players up in the USWDGC right now.
Oh, yeah.
Mason Ford, of course, playing professionally out there from them, and Alan Jansen, Jimmy Samota. Tanner, there's a bunch of guys that they support, and you see up and coming. So shout out to them, putting on a tournament. Pretty cool thing. Right now, I'm sitting 4th in the standings in the MA1 division. That's not including the Roy G points, and maybe I'll move up, and then Oktoberfest, see if we can get to number 1. That'll be cool. Rob's up there. He actually got the automatic invite to the finals happening in December, which we'll talk about here in a bit. From winning MA40 at Loso here in San Antonio, which was an A tier.
Oh yeah.
And I believe you're 31st, which would probably still make the 10% cutoff in MA1. So you might have choices on,
Oh yeah.
where you want to play if you decide to
Probably gonna play
that.
MA1. I from what I understand, I recently signed up for a tournament, an A tier, a while back, a long time ago, before my ratings had been updated. and stuff
41
like
like
that.
20 tournaments.
Yeah, before I started getting, to the point where, my confidence, my putting was better. So
Consistency.
and the consistency, most definitely. So I'm definitely, the options available, I'll probably play MA1 just because my rating. People can say, bagger, they can say this, and people say that stuff all the time, and we can have that conversation as well. But I definitely always try to push myself and be, you learn just as much from losing that you do from winning sometimes. And I know I've got it.
Not more.
I've got it my butt whooped quite a bit of times, especially when me and my brother first started. We started in MA2. We didn't go to rec or novice or nothing like that. We didn't know.
Did it even exist then? Really? Like
yeah, I think it did. And I think one of the first tournaments we played was Victoria Open. If you've never been over there to Victoria and played those courses, they are a beast, especially when it's windy. I mean, it's kind of like a Starkey here in Seguin, but it's not. It wasn't very beginner friendly, I guess, for us. But it was a learning experience, and it was. If you're shy about getting out there playing disc golf and loving it, if you're a competitive person, you're going to get upset that you don't do well. But at the same time, you got to consider that you're learning as you go, and the only way you're going to get better is if you put yourself in those positions to be nervous or to have the jitters on the 20-foot putt and and I see that a lot, like players that are good. I know they're good,
Yeah.
but you can see their nerves, and you can see that definitely affects their throw or some of the decision making, most definitely. And it's really, you don't know what you don't know,
And that's the hardest thing, I think, too, about, disc golf can be for everyone. You got to have patience. Patience is the thing. And then also you got to challenge yourself, right? Like, if you want to play casually, that's great, play casually, and you're going to get better, right? As, depending on what level you're at, right? You're going to always get better. If you're going to try and play competitively, I would suggest entering some tournaments, kind of seeing where you're at. And also, like, going out to courses you usually don't play, and
Oh yeah.
because sometimes you'll get some of those beautiful courses, like here in San Antonio, right? We go out to the Ranch, we go out to Moody's, we go out to Turkey Ridge. Those are beautiful championship courses.
You got to challenge
we
yourself.
can get.
I think that's where we're at in
Yeah,
our playing career. Like we're wanting to get to challenge ourselves and mess up our rating by doing that.
Yeah. And that's the only way, though. And I feel like we did. So I don't know about you, but I feel like I finally have overcome that point where now I'm starting to score, starting to get, rounds that are always above my rating now, right?
Oh,
Before I used to always have that random 850, 870, low
I see
900s.
it. I see it.
Yeah. And so now we're consistently where it feels good when it's like, man, we had a bad round. We shot at or 10 points above our rating or something like that. So that's the difference, I think. And again, I think that switched up with mentality, like really starting to overcome. Like, I think one of the biggest things I look at a lot of, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still amateur, right? But other people coming into the game and whatnot is they set expectations on themselves, and then it's hard to kind of like fulfill that. If you're not quite where you're at, you get a little upset or something like that. And I see that from almost every app that comes in, right? So the biggest thing is always like play your game, have confidence, and it's hard to say that, right? Have confidence when you're hitting tree after tree or whatnot, but you gotta win, right? In the little places, right? You have one good shot, celebrate it. Have a good putt, celebrate it, and those will bring more little wins.
And most importantly, if you're doing horrible, don't make it uncomfortable for the other people by throwing a fit or being upset, slamming.
We've both been part of that card, yeah.
And nobody likes to play with that. It makes things uncomfortable, and you can get upset. Like I'll get upset, and then I'll get over it, and I'm like, great shot, man. I'm trying to pump up the card and definitely not bring the vibe down. And I think just staying in that positive mindset, we all have those, like my 10 hole. Even my 10 hole, I wasn't even that mad. I was mad afterwards. Just because I realized where I was and what would have been in standings. Even if I'd gotten a double bogey, I would have been right there within striking distance. I think I shot myself out of definitely the win, but the top 10 was a challenge to get into that.
Yeah.
Like that was, so I learned a lot playing the long boxes and, my
different shots for sure.
And it's different shot shapes and whatnot. Me and C-Rod here have been playing, MA2, MA1,
MA1 now, yeah.
And definitely mostly MA1 open. It depends on the courses,
For sure, yeah. There's definitely those ones that we have that we play really well at. So we'll give it a go. And most times it turns out pretty good, right? You just got to go and show up, play your game. So yeah, looking forward to how the year finishes off for both of us. We got a lot of tournaments coming up, which we'll talk about that too. So that way, in case y'all don't know, y'all know to go sign up. If you need links, definitely throw it out there. If there's a tournament we don't mention that you want us to mention or shout out, maybe you're hosting it, let us know in the comments, and we'll make sure that we shout you out and see if we can help you with the signups and whatnot. We know how it is, right? And it's a little nerve-wracking because a lot of people wait till the last few days to sign up. Maybe we can help you get that going faster. But just pivoting, right? That was good talking about kind of where we finished at this past weekend.
And I got Windcrest, and then the following week I am off to Piney Woods.
Tyler. I'm off to Red Rock, Texas, doing Oktoberfest, another Mint event. Both are great tournaments, I think. Rob's is an A tier, mine's a B tier. Hopefully we have fun. Moody's is a fun course. I was out there earlier this year. Had a blow up back 9 after 3 rounds and didn't shoot too well. So I want to go back out there, and I feel I need to get some revenge. I think I'm definitely a better player than I was 6-7 months ago.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot more distance too.
For sure.
You see this guy throw there's guys that on their card are like, man, he just bombed that. I've seen a few good shots, and that's why we keep coming back.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to have a good tournament. Hope you have a good tournament.
For
good luck
sure.
to you.
Same to you, man.
Just keep that positive vibe. So if you're playing this weekend, just have fun. Make it one of those things where you just don't have any expectations. One of the things that I think has changed my game is definitely, even if I have to keep score, which I hate doing, I don't mind doing it, to be honest with you.
I think I've grown into it a little bit.
I usually always know mentally where I'm at. I don't even without thinking about it. Like I know, okay, I'm one under, I'm 6 under, or I'm 2 over.
You just know.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't been looking at my score relative to
In
everybody else.
comparison, right? Mhm.
Yeah. And then I won't think about it at all. I'll take score and stuff like that. I'll just put the scores in, but I won't go back to the live to look at, okay, where am I at right now after
Yeah.
every hole. I used to do that. And the only time I really do that is when I'm close to the win and I need to know, okay, do I need to be aggressive or do I need to lay up and just, I could take a double here. Let's just play smart. Let's throw a mid down the fairway and just get up and down for your par.
Yep.
Or do I have to play aggressive,
Mhm.
And I think, you see a lot of that in the Disc Golf Pro Tour as well. And,
I was gonna ask that too. I'm curious, right? I mean, take it that this ever reach any of the pros. I mean, I'm curious to know, do you think about that during the rounds? I mean, of course, when it's coming down to the wire and you're playing good and
Well, I know, and I can't remember the name of it. Blue Ridge, I think it was Blue Ridge this year.
Mhm.
It was a silver event. Bradley Williams.
Oh yeah, when he laid up.
He laid up, and people were like, "What?"
He didn't go for it.
He didn't go for the win, and people kind of
Either way,
criticized
he
him.
would have got second.
Yeah, so I think the way he looked at it as he knew what the breakdown for payouts
Yeah,
were
and points.
and points, so he knew he made that conscious decision, and I think the tours, the top pros are definitely self-sufficient, or they're making enough money from their sponsorship and from their tournament winnings to be able to live comfortably.
But every dollar counts for those ones that are, they went out on a limb and they're not exactly
Yeah,
sponsored
'cause
with
then you
$1 million
gotta do-
contracts.
You got to do the Airbnb, you got to do your gas, you got
Travel.
to do your food, your travel.
Gas
So
ain't cheap.
like it ain't easy. So those guys grinding out there, kudos to y'all and keep making that dream happen. The Freddie Mazas, the Taylor, the Tanners, and so continue to do that. And we always root for you here in Texas.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully we might be there too one day.
one day.
Yeah,
So we're excited to bring you this content. And at any time, leave a comment of what you'd like to see or somebody you might like to see.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, so that
And
we
we'll
can.
try and get them on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. We have some virtual equipment that we're working with too, so we can definitely have people in who are not necessarily here in town.
Right.
Right now, I definitely want to have the Manujanos on, and definitely
Mason
and
and
some of
Connor
those,
and-
and definitely some of the touring pros. But right now they're focused.
I would love to have every Texas player on, going all the way up. I mean, I could think of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's Paige. Who else? Brody. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's Maria Oliva. I mean, there's a ton that
Emerson.
Colin Hanley, Emerson. Like,
Oh yeah.
I would love to touch base with all of them. Lisa Fakis. Like, that would be pretty cool, right? Imagine we get
GT
there and
Hancock.
yeah, and we end up interviewing them, right? But I mean,
And we've been at some of the tournaments that they're at, and I
Yeah.
think that I get kind of starstruck every now and then, like, oh, that's so and so,
Yeah,
that's so and so, like, that's cool. So, jumping to the DGPT.
yeah, jump into the pros. Yeah.
So, did you see the coverage?
Yes, I did.
So the coverage was good, but there was some controversy with. I don't know if you know, but they stopped it for, I believe, excessive wind.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I think honestly they made the right call just because of the safety.
Yeah.
But I think where people are criticizing them is they did it right before the lead card, and then when they came back, it was like still the same amount of wind, and then
It looked a little calmer though.
yeah. So, but it really wasn't. I saw videos of it, and people were talking, but I think people have been talking about that. And what do? You're a tournament director. I definitely would err on the side of caution. They said that on some of the further up holes that branches were falling down, and like if you're on DDO, like if you're in Kansas, there's not a whole lot that's going to fall on you, but
No.
especially
you
when
play on.
you
but-
play on, and you've seen those conditions. But I think they made the right decision, and definitely being conscious about the safety and stuff like that. They came back, and
Yeah, you have to.
I think that affected a few players. What was that? The third round or second round?
It was the second round, I believe. Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, I mean, I'm sure some of the players are saying something too and whatnot. Of course, the players that finished and had to go through it probably didn't agree, but I guess that's why you get on, lead card and finish the best that you can, right?
Oh yeah. There's been times though that lead card has also had to finish in the dark.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it kind of balances out, I think. So I think they made the right call.
And it's just the nature of the game, man. It
Sometimes
really
you get the
is.
short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And
You really do.
And it is what it is. At the end of the day, you know, just you got to play with the conditions you're in, and that's one of the things I do love about disc golf is I love playing in the rain. I really do, but not the way it came down the other day. Like that was just straight up. I've only been caught in the rain like that maybe twice.
Yeah.
And usually I played through it and stuff, but that was pretty bad.
Yeah. But shout out, right? I mean, overall, right? Maple Hill, right?
Yes.
I mean, you got
that's on my bucket list.
I mean, first of all, before we get to it, right? I mean, crazy match, right? Going into round 4, who was going to win, the guys? Round, women's FPO.
Oh yeah.
Didn't know who was going to win it either, right? It was close. And
came down to the last hole.
Yeah,
it really did. She took it.
Yeah, Haley King, she did well. I mean, and just throwing out there, I want to start off women's because I want to, separate the MPO a little bit. But FPO, right? I mean, I thought 16 holes, 15 holes through. Tatar had it in the bag.
Even Owen was there, and she threw it away like on 11 or 12 or something.
She got back though. She
came back and got second or third.
She tied for second with Kristen. If Haley would have done anything else besides birdie the last hole,
and that's the way that last 18 hole is. Usually, you get a bogey, you get a birdie.
Right.
Because it's an island.
And they all 3 out of the 4 so happened to get birdie, man. And it was like Owen's there for birdie, Kristen's there for birdie. Haley messes up, even takes a bogey. She's tying or going down one, right? So she had to get at least a par to make sure she could push a playoff.
Oh yeah.
She
that would have been pretty cool to see the playoff.
It would have seen a 3.
I was really happy for Haley. You know, she's one who I think has a really high ceiling, and I like when she plays well. I don't like how she interviews, honestly, but
some people are just shy, man. I mean,
and I think she's just very straightforward, but at the end of the day, it's a job and it's something that they do for a living, and everybody thought Tatar was going to run away with it and stuff like that, but there was a lot of females, there in the hunt towards the end, which is what people wanted to see. They weren't wanting to see Kristen win by 35 strokes or something.
And it's great that someone took. Like, I love Kristen, right? She's awesome, great player. I mean, I don't think no one dislikes her, right? Like, she's just one of those women that everyone respects. And for interesting fact I was seeing though is that she hasn't won Maple Hill, so that kind of continues. But again, shout out to Haley. She came on strong. I mean, she finished amazing. Like, I don't know if you actually saw the round and the FPL one, but I mean, she was lacing them. A couple bad holes, but you're gonna have a couple bad holes at a course like that, right? And then, but shout out to her. But yeah,
there was a lot. It was good to watch. It was really entertaining.
Fun.
So when I got out of work, I would check it out, and I would check the recap, or I would watch it. Not during work, obviously, but. I wish I could
work. Whatever.
I can't.
Rob has an easy job, so no, I'm just kidding.
What I do is not easy. Trust me.
No, but ultimately, man, shout out to her. Again, it was a close race. I'm sure that was even fun for Kristen, knowing like, hey, these people, everyone could beat me. Anyone could beat me any given day, and I think it woke her up a little bit. Didn't start off hot today, but she finished strong, which we'll get to that here in a bit. But other side of things, MPO. I mean, shout out Matteo.
Finally with the win.
Man.
I think they said it was like so many thousands of days until
it was almost like 20 years, they said. Or something.
20 years, this guy.
Well, I mean, he has never won one, so I mean, it's all been
elite or a major. He's never won one, right?
Yeah.
He's won a lot of A-tiers, and he's been around the circuit for a minute, and he's been on a few podcasts, talking. Very interesting, charismatic guy. Very interesting with his approach to the game and how he looks at life. He's all about Alabama and stuff like that.
Unique player, man. I mean, honestly, whenever I got on the scene, I was like, this guy's a little weird. He grew on me. He grew on me, honestly, dude, because he's just one of those chill dudes. You don't really ever see him. The most time I saw him look serious was just this past time when he realized, like, oh, man, I'm going to win this thing. Like, you could tell he was just, like, focused.
And that's the second time in a year that somebody has won from the chase card.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trend. Yeah. And I think it's a trend that's happening. And he just ran away with it. Like, it was almost hard to watch the coverage and even Yuli has been on record saying that it was kind of hard doing the broadcast or the Jomez because everybody, like, he was so far ahead that.
I mean, he birdied 7, 8 of the last 9 or something like that.
And his buddy making 60 footers and just.
On 17, that just capped it.
And I think that's what he had to do. And I think he's always had the game. And he's got, all the shots, all the distance that he needs. Forehand, backhand.
And he's 36.
And Oh, he's still young.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, right? I was sitting here, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, man, yeah. I mean, obviously, maybe might not ever play at that level, but to be able to know that your game could still increase, being that we didn't find the game at the age of 20 or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that's definitely one thing I would go back and really pick up.
8-year-old or 5-year-old or 10-year-old.
Think about it, dude. Yep.
Yeah.
But shout out to Matty O, and he never. I guess my biggest surprise was, think about it. You have a lead card with Ricky, Simon, Calvin, and Eagle, right?
And that was a really good card. It was
one of your winners.
It was definitely a stacked card.
Yeah.
And I really thought the winner was going to come out of that. But once I saw him get to like 13, I was like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Something was happening. They even started panning to him more. They're like, hey, something else is happening here.
And even the ace was kind of overshadowed. Andrew Marweed on hole 8. He threw that forehand. It was a sweet ace. If you didn't see that ace, you got to check it out on the coverage. He threw a forehand, little flex line, and then it came in and ching.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was a really good shot.
Yeah, but that was good stuff, right? And then you got another great tournament, right? All I got to say is support the women. It's the USWDGC, I believe, going on this weekend. Just started yesterday.
4-rounder.
4 rounds. It's over at I believe it's Burlington, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
It is it's
a major.
It's the
regulator at Rock
the regulator
Creek.
at Rock Creek.
There you go. So I like the coverage that I have seen. I do like the holes and how they kind of lay out with they need some distance and placement, and then they can pinch themselves off.
It's a good mix.
And you got it the forehand. If you have a forehand at that course, I feel like you have an advantage.
Yeah, that's why Sarah Holcomb, forehand dominant, and she's up there, right? Like you could tell it's friendly for her. But I mean, a lot of good shooters. Kristen Tatar being number 1. She kind of took herself right out the picture yesterday.
And she started off rough that first round. She was like +3.
A triple double and a double back to back. But I mean,
she fought back to what, 3 under the first round?
3 under, yeah.
And then this next round, she shot 4 under.
Yeah, putting her at 7, 2 behind Hannah Blomrose, and then I believe on the lead card it's gonna be
Rebecca Cox.
Yeah, shout out to Rebecca
and Evelina.
That's gonna be cool, right? I mean, I know when me and you play on our card, it's a different kind of like we're playing against everyone else, but we're secretly playing against each other as well. Yeah. I love beating you and you love beating me.
I love telling you when you're putting and whispering in your ear, just going like, hey, it's a big basket.
Guys, believe it or not, this guy does this, and we're in tournaments, but I mean, that's what we're out there. We're out there to have fun, right? If you can't get past that, it's going to be hard to get to the next level. Mentally strong, brother. Mentally strong. It's going to be hard to get to the next level, so I feel like we help each other out there. But, Evelina, Blomrose, even Kristen's familiar with them. They played, over in Europe.
And I think there's a lot of people that are under. I mean, they're not too far out of it. There's people that, Valerie's not too far out of it. She's not out of the thing.
She's like in 9th or 12th place, and she's only 3 strokes behind the leader. So,
so there's a lot of people that can make some moves. Even Haley Kings, I don't think she had a good round today, but I think
with her chase card,
with her forehand. Look out for her tomorrow.
Her elbow's been bothering her, like, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the next time you're here for us, we'll know who won this. But I just want to go out there for this tournament again. It's really close. There's a lot of names up there. Like even Jessica Weiss is up there on Chase card. Missy Gannon she was up there, man. First place for a while, and then she just took a couple doubles. But think about Missy, she's consistent. She'll get back up there.
Oh yeah.
But I just throwing it out there. I think Kristen will win this tournament.
You think so?
However, if anyone is going to take her down, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there. I mean, and this is just someone coming out of nowhere. Maybe, man, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there because sometimes, you have that tournament, right? It's like, this was my time. This was my tournament. Rebecca Cox looked really good today.
Yeah.
She shot, I think they said she shot 45% from circle 1, and she still had one of the hottest rounds of the day.
Wow.
Imagine if she puts it all together. And, I'm not even a Rebecca Cox fan like that, but when you come out and do it and you just get that certain boost of energy, it's like you're invincible. You're invincible. Yeah. And that's like just a wild dark horse, dude. Like, I'm sure Evelina's going to be up there. Blomrose, she's up there right now. She's leading at -9, but
we've seen her. Prove. She's still got to prove herself, I think. She does well. She's a great player.
Last major of the year.
So, it's gonna be a definitely a fight to the end.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the coverage this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and good luck to all the ladies that are out there playing, the Masters divisions and the older divisions.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss
Des Redding shooting like minus 21 after 2 rounds or so.
She's doing
Yeah.
it. Shout out to her and her sponsors, and Yeti. We gotta have you on, Yeti.
Yes.
So definitely shout out to Yeti and Edge Disc Golf.
Yeah. But yeah, that keep looking out for that. I mean, again, you'll probably hear this after everything, but let us know your thoughts for the next cup coming up, right? The Pro Tour Championship,
Oh yeah.
right? Send us some posts, right? Who do you think's gonna win? Maybe we'll do a little giveaway for whoever comes the closest for kind of like the Grip Pick 6 on UDisc. We'll figure something out here next week, and maybe see how we can win. But that would be pretty cool. Be on the lookout on Facebook and our page, and we'll announce how to do that. And we have a couple other little giveaways that we're going to go. So, I mean, pivoting to that, right?
So I'm excited because I've been waiting to share this pick of who's gonna win the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and
Happening October 12th to 15th.
it's definitely
Check it
gonna
out.
be something that's very exciting. A lot of money on the line.
Mhm.
And the format, C-Rod, he's more familiarized with the format of it. So tell us how this. So you work all year to get points and stuff like that.
Right,
So tell us how it works.
So yeah, you have all your Silver Elite Series. You have your majors. Those who win an Elite Series or majors, they're automatically in, right? For the guys, it was top 32 get in. For the women, the top 20 got in, right? So these women and men are given the opportunity to go and compete for a good chunk of change. I don't think it's really set in stone. It's somewhere has to be. I know last year was what,
That was a
35,000,
lot.
right? So
Let's just say it was a lot.
yeah, they're competing for a lot, right? First 2 rounds, this is where the points came into effect, right? So first place, like Calvin Heimberg, he's gonna get a 6-stroke lead to start off his round for the qualifier, right? So if rounds 1 and 2 out of 4 are gonna narrow the field down.
And I think he gets a
32.
bye, doesn't he? He gets a bye. He doesn't have to play that first. It's the first few rounds or something like that. He doesn't have to play till the semifinals or something like that. Is that part of it too, or no?
I don't know if that's it. Just because I think what happens is, what I was reading is he's gonna get the 6-stroke lead for the first 2 rounds. So right off the bat, starting off with 6 strokes,
Wow.
right? And then so on. So Isaac and Gannon are going to get 5, I believe. And then from there on, I believe it was like James Proctor and someone else, right?
What, like 4 or 3 strokes? Or
4, and it goes down to 1. So it actually goes down to 0. So if you place like the last 5, 6, 7 spots, you're getting a 0-point
So
stroke.
you should.
So you got to work, right? You got to work. But again, it's not inevitable, right? We've seen Calvin blow it. We've seen Simon blow it. Eagle blow it. Anything can happen. But first 2 rounds, they get that stroke lead. Top 12 people after the first and second round, they move on to the championship for the MPO, FPO, top 8, right? So then now you get your final 2 rounds. Those reset back to even, and then you go with your final score for those 2 days to distinguish who the champion is. So again, narrow down for the last 2 rounds to top 12 for men, top 8 for women. Picks.
So, and I might be just completely not
Biased?
on the money. No, not biased. I'm not going to say I really do want to say I think he's going to play well. I think he will make the finals.
So put who you want to win.
No, not want to win. I want Isaac to win. I want
Who
Isaac
you
Robinson.
want, who you think, who's a dark horse.
So, who I want to win is Isaac. Who I think is going to win is James Proctor. I think James, he's been sneaky good.
I mean, Nathan Queen won, right?
Yeah. And
Anyone could win.
lefty, shout out lefties.
Yeah. Dark horse.
I really think James Proctor, and I think that's kind of a dark horse, but
Mhm.
I don't think if anybody would be surprised if he won.
I mean, he's like 4th or 5th over. No,
So,
5th overall.
That's why
right
I'm
now.
putting him there, because I think that's enough strokes behind where he can put the pressure on and get a birdie on the first hole, get a birdie on the next hole, and then they're sitting there dang, he already caught up.
Oh, and he could be intimidating with this putting.
I love his putting. I love his putting,
Yeah.
and he's just a strong player.
Yeah.
Who I think is going to be the dark horse. Honestly, the dark horse, and I hate to say that he's a dark horse because I think he's probably one of still the best players in the world, is Ricky.
Yeah, no.
I think Ricky's due. He's been too quiet for too long. I know he won the preserve and stuff like that, but he's been out a lot of the season and stuff like that.
But he's been shooting well. And
he's been kind of up there. He's
been a little rough here and there.
The other person I'd say was Eagle, but I don't know. He's definitely capable. All those guys are capable of playing.
Yeah.
But shout out to the guys who made it in, and definitely going to be worth watching the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and that's what they go for. And that's why they played those Silver Series and stuff like that, and definitely gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah, no. And I mean, just letting you know who's at the top, right? You got Calvin at 1, Gannon 2, Isaac 3, and I believe they're flip flop just recently though.
Oh yeah.
You even had like Kyle Klein up there, Eagle. But I'm throwing my picks out there, right? So I mean, I like Calvin to win, right, man? I mean, I just think he's a overall better play. If he brings us 100% off 4 days, he's unstoppable. No one's better than him, in my opinion. Very close ones to him, Isaac, Eagle. Oh, yeah. They're all right there. So I think want to win, Calvin, who I think's gonna win. Man, I think, believe it or not, I think Gannon Burr's gonna win.
You think so?
And then my dark horse, who I think can win, Anthony Barilla. He's due for one.
Oh, yeah.
He's due for one. He has, I mean, honestly, I think he has the highest ceiling in the game right now. He can improve a lot. He's up there all the time, and then you just see how much he can improve.
I can see Paul kind of, and he's always been in Paul's, circle, you know what I mean?
Right.
He kind of helped him out early on. But I can see Paul gravitating towards him more, being in the, just...
Like a mentor.
A mentor, and I think it's going to take the mental strength and improve putting, which is not so much better lately. But he's got the highest ceiling. And they say that, and I mean by they is on different podcasts, they talk about who's the best player to, like we talk in regular sports, who's the best player who have never won a major.
Right.
Just like in golf, you talk about, your Dan Marinos and football, and you talk about, Karl Malone, and you talk about these guys who don't have rings. Matty O recently, I think, was the one who was very surprising, but who I'm going to put up there as well that everybody's been talking about is Anthony Barilla.
Yeah.
And I think he's due. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And then FPO wise, right? And I was looking right now. Isaac, it did make the top. Matty O was able to squeeze in the top 10 with his win at Maple Hill. Women's, right? You got Kristen, Missy Owen, Holland, Ella, Kat, Hayley King, Katrina Allen, Sarah Holcomb, Macy Valdez, rounding up the top 10, right? So FPO, right? I mean, obviously a little bit more now down. Top 20 made it. Last one in was Hannah Blomrose, who I think is definitely should be up there. She just didn't play as much events or do good, but she should be up there to compete as one of the top players. And then you have people like Juliana Korver, making it for as long as she's been doing it, she's competing with a lot of younger people. Should give her a shout out. She's continues to do it continues to do it at a high level.
But I think that might be too much to overcome with the points. If the point structure is the same, am I understanding that?
Right. And so basically, I mean, you got a lot of competitors. What's your picks, FPO?
So for my picks for FPO are who I want to win is obviously Valerie Mabuhanu. Who I think is going to win is Kristen. And I know that's an obvious pick, but I think it's going to be a lot to overcome. She's not going to shoot herself in the foot. Who I think is the dark horse, whoever's in 5th place right now.
You know what? That's not a bad choice. Ella Hansen.
Yep.
Yeah. And so,
that's who I picked.
I mean, I guess who I think is going to win, Kristen. I think she's going to sweep it again. Who is going to win, who I would like to win, honestly. It would be fun to see someone different win, right? I think it would be interesting to see Holland Hanley win. Oh. She deserves a win, right? What's crazy is Holland will have one bad round and then just tear it up the other 3 rounds. It's just Chris Rodriguez is it, And so
you turned it into some sort of saying now, some sort of verb.
Yeah, it's so smooth, so it works. But and then my dark horse, man, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Kat Merch. You know, if anyone could do it, Kat has the distance now. Sometimes she just looks at the game a different way, so mellow. And I think sometimes I don't know how much she gets in her head. Just sometimes she doesn't look like she lets things bother her. Like, seen her get a triple before, and it's okay, man.
Next hole, get a birdie.
Next hole, go and get a birdie. So, I think Kat Mertz has the most upside. She's kind of like the Anthony Barilla of FPO for me right now. Yeah. She has a long way to go.
Oh, she's got a big ceiling.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other new ones, right? Like I think Saarinen, I forgot her first name. Sayonara, and then there's also like a Kate.
You can't forget about Owen Scoggins too. Yeah, like, she's having not even a sneaky good year. Like she's just been. She loves disc golf, and I love her personality. I love her. I just want her to stay healthy.
She's such a nice sweetheart, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that she's playing through injury right now, and
I would have picked her. I honestly would have picked her, but I think she's hurting. And
she is. She's visibly hurting.
Yeah, so that's going to definitely affect it. So I'm looking forward to the end of the season, and last thing we want to wrap it up with is one of the courses that is on my bucket list is WR Jackson, and for those of you that don't know, WR Jackson is where they have the Champions Cup, and that's where
popular course.
Very nice course.
But been on the hot topic lately, which I think Rob, he kind of knows a little bit more on this than what I've been hearing. I've heard it, everything like that, but I know he was reading up on it recently.
So they're changing it, I believe, to November now. And I think because there's a beetle that's damaging these trees and, reaping some havoc and stuff like that, they're going to have to redesign it, or they're going to have to take some trees out so that it doesn't kind of overtake,
especially if it's windy, they're gonna have to, stop it because those trees are getting so hollowed out, which they can just break and fall.
So that's gonna be definitely. I hope it doesn't change too much because I haven't played the original, but all the work that those guys do on the courses and stuff like that, it's hard to do that and have a love. It's like being a maintenance guy or being a greens guy in a golf course. Same thing. So hopefully I think it's kind of late. I think the PDGA has been notorious for saying these things early on and then coming back and changing it based on what the players say. I think the players have already started to voice that, man, that's in November, like towards the end, and have another major not in the spring, because I believe it's sometime way earlier than what it is, so that it buys them time. Do you think that they should change the course for the Champions Cup until they figure it out and have it at the same time? Or do you think they should move it the way they did?
I mean, I definitely think they should reevaluate, because at the end of the day, right, if it's an unsafe place to play, I mean, you can't hide that fact, right? And that's where lawsuits start coming in, and, they knew about this, the PDGA still made us play there. But other than that, players love it as well too, so I can imagine being like, no, we want to play it. It's a course we always play.
But like, I guess what I'm referring to is the timing, moving it towards the end of the year when you have you have Ledgestone, you have your Maple Hill, you have your DGP, or not your DGP, you have the stuff that's coming up. I mean, it's going to be tough. Like it's a grind towards the end. You could see the fatigue on some of the players. But we'll see how that plays out.
I think they're going to do like a players poll and definitely get the players' idea on that and see what
Which is what they should have done in the first place. And maybe they already did. Maybe I'm just talking smack, but it's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's what. Yeah, he does, guys.
Yeah. So
no, but
we appreciate you guys listening.
No, we appreciate you listening.
But like and subscribe for sure.
Yes. Continue to subscribe. Before we do let you go, though, we just kind of want to go over the community scene, right? We know a lot of our listeners come from San Antonio, come from Austin. If you're anywhere nearby, this is relevant to you as well, too. Again, professionally, those are kind of the tournaments coming up, kind of nearing the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
But for us, this month is still going strong. Locally. October, coming up, like we mentioned, next weekend, there's still room to sign up for Oktoberfest in Red Rock, Texas for Moody's. 2 rounds on Saturday, 2 courses, and then 1 round with the 2 courses combined to make up 18 holes. If you've never been out there, beautiful course, go try it out. If you literally have nothing to do and you love disc golf and you love playing tournaments, it's within driving distance. I don't think Piney Woods, you can get in anymore.
No. Filled up very quickly.
Yeah, but that's going on this weekend. So let's look at the scoreboards. Maybe root for people that we see from our hometown out there. But coming up after that, here next weekend, just to revamp, we have Amy and Kevin Monahan on early this year. They're holding their tournament here October 7th, C tier. It's going to be at Monahan Ranch, so look that up on Disc Golf Scene as well too. And we'll try and list these all out here on our website on Facebook, so that way y'all can just click on them and go visit them and sign up if you want to. But October 7th is the Monahan Ranch Open, and then October 7th and 8th, you also have that's the ATX Open that's going on in Austin. It's 2 rounds at Roy G. Again, if you never played there, beautiful course that's being held, I believe, by I believe it's Chris. Is it Chris Harris this time around again? Chris Harris and them, and Mint is sponsored, so that should be really fun. If you're over in Austin, I'm pretty sure everyone in Austin's gonna get out to that one. But again, if you have nothing going on in San Antonio and you don't hit up the Joshua Springs Open held by Hypernova in Austin North. I know he's promoting out there a lot. Rob told me about that course out there.
I love that course.
Yes,
those guys do good things out there. Here. I don't know. I don't think there's anything
like a McLean. You see,
it's kind of like a combination with McLean and like Pearsall Park.
McLean and Pearsall Park. Okay.
You know, like I don't know how else to describe it, but there's some cool lines out there. You know, some tough OBs and. Definitely challenge to those guys, and you know, Hypernovas, they've been doing some good things as well. And you know, shout out to Big Flicks as well. I think there's a C tier Saturday. There's going to be a C tier. I think they're playing all short boxes this Saturday at McLean.
Yeah, and then also too, y'all, for the kiddos, October 7th, they're doing. Actually, it's next week, September 30th. It's going to be Texas Junior Disc Golf again at the Dillo. It's the Dillo 9. Thomas Perks and Mario Medrano out there. Great events every time. CTP prizes on all 18 holes and they limit the divisions as well too to the CT prize. So everyone, literally my kids have gone out there every time and run a CTP prize. So that's pretty cool, and it's great prizes out there. Continue to support them because literally they have, that's going to be the next generation growing up. I mean, I'm talking about kids going out here and throwing rollers, forehands, backhands, shooting better scores than the adults, and it's pretty awesome to see. So be on the lookout for that, and then just upcoming tournaments coming up for the rest of the year. I mean, you have your Waterloo Classic in Austin. I know that's going to be pretty cool. ACDC, Proline, Kraken. They're having the Women's Disc Golf Association here in San Antonio. Amy, they're having end of year party. Great Town. How's that? What are they doing? Do you know all the events going on that weekend?
There's doubles, I think night rounds and stuff like that. So if you haven't checked that out, the end of the year party, if you have a bag tag from any of those, Kraken, Proline, or ACDC, I believe you get to play that or to be invited to that. There's a lot of cash being given away, ace money and stuff like that. Definitely Luke's event out there in Greytown, the doubles, which means
November 18th.
Me and C-Rod are going to team up and see how we do against the field. We'll kind of report back to y'all and see.
That should be.
That's going to be fun. That's C-Rod's favorite course. I'm hoping he can bail me out. We'll kind of talk about that.
And then also we have Monterey. William Monterey. He's starting up the first available league again here in San Antonio. I mean, I'm sure anyone could play. If you want to come from Austin, maybe the leagues aren't competitive enough over there. Y'all are welcome to come down here and give it a try. There's some really tough AMs like that, and up and coming AMs that are, playing really well. And
shout out to Lonnie. He's been doing a great job. Yeah. And I love playing his. I won't have time.
Very organized person.
Very good guy. We're going to have him on soon, hopefully. And I know I've been in the talks with him. So shout out to him and his league and the good things that he's doing in Hypernova. Obviously, new on the scene, but not new to disc golf. Yeah. And
I don't got a date for you yet, which I'll have it. It's for also a Goose Promotions event happening. Reason I want to say this because it's a cool event. Slaughter, Circle C. So Mary Moore, Circle C tournament. That's going to be pretty cool out there. 2 courses. I believe it's like it's a slaughter battle and slaughter, something like that. I don't want to butcher it too much, but I'll get details on that so we can help them promote that. I don't think that'll have a problem filling, but that should be another cool event. And then also player NADGT events that's coming up here November. This will be November 1st to 4th. That's right around the corner. If you never played it before, it is a little pricey. We get it. You get some cool players pack. It's an experience though. You're paying for the experience. You really are. It's something you can't get without going to another state, another city. everyone comes to you, right? So for you only being a cityway here in San Antonio or in Austin, I mean, take advantage of it, man. It's pretty cool. Did it for the first time last year.
Thousands of disc golfers.
Yeah, and
how many were in our division last year?
There was like 350, and me and Rob placed top 30, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we definitely did really well.
Yeah, and so it just kind of let us know, okay, cool, we can hang up there with some of the best, right? So be on the lookout for that. And lastly, just again supporting Amy and them. They're having their second their final Wildflower Tour event, which is like that hot championship we were telling you about. This is their Wildflower Championship. It's gonna be held in Wilder, Texas. Guys, if you like disc golf and you can always provide a little bit of support or anything, maybe they need some spotters. Maybe you want to go see a beautiful course, an actual championship course and never have. Go support these women. They support the men all the time. Let's show them our support any way we can, whether it's through money, through merchandise, just through watching, being there for them, helping, however you can help them out. Let's make sure that we continue to do that for the community. And again, reach out to Amy Monahan for that, ACDC, Kraken. Other than that, I mean, be on the lookout, guys. Again, hot finals coming December. I'm looking forward to that. And again, thanks to our sponsors.
Sweet Bro Creations. And we have King's Disc Golf. And we have people that are Imagine the Reaction and
Gateway.
And Gateway. Shout out to Gateway, my sponsor. I'm getting some new discs, so I'm excited. I'm going to bring them on, and that way they can I show them what the new discs that are out that they just got approved. So I'm excited to do that the next show.
And shout out to your new disc. Maybe we have a disc giveaway, and maybe we'll get you the disc that you like as well too. So in the comments, shoot us your favorite disc. Shoot us a memory with that disc, an ace with that disc, anything like that. And we're looking at multiple ways to get some giveaways to you, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a disc, a towel. We got some towels sponsored by Goose Promotions that we'll send out to y'all. But yes, like, subscribe, and share something on the page, on this video as well too, once we attach it. Again, we want to look for multiple ways. We want to hear your feedback, how we can make this better.
Oh yeah. So thank you once again. That concludes our show. Thank you so much for being a listener. Like, subscribe, and share. Have a great evening.
And tune in for your next guest. Be on the lookout for that on our Facebook page.
Thank you.